Oh,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 NBA Mock Draft 2020-2021. Boys, I know we're all excited to get this thing over with. I know, Sam, you are just so pumped to have this Minnesota pick. I
Let's
know how
get
much you
it.
love the team. I know how much you love this team.
Mhm.
Why don't we start this off with the number one draft pick in the 2020-2021 season? Sam, what does Minnesota have?
Well, let's make this very clear first. As a Minnesota Timberwolves GM, we're moving the team to Seattle. All right, that's the only way.
That's the best
to
move.
begin.
The best move you could
We'll just
do.
go on to the Golden State pick at this point. But I think this team is a little bit disastrous. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, Cat. Sorry, D'Lo. Like, trade was a mistake. I'm just gonna be real with you. We're probably gonna dump your ass somewhere else. Let's be real. Let's start fresh here. And I'm going with the big shakeup of LaMelo Ball. He has to be number one. LaMelo Ball will be my pick.
Holy
And the reason with LaMelo Ball is I think for anyone on that team, the missing piece on that team is a face. Like, let's be real. Karl-Anthony Towns, as much as it is an all-star, probably one season, let's be real, there's no real icon to this. We need someone that says a real fuck you like KG was. And I think this is what LaMelo Ball can bring to it. Along with that, with the personality comes with his actual playmaking ability. We saw, I don't know if you guys watched some of the NBL, but that was some really fun stuff. And I think the more interesting part was his evolution at each step. I know he was forced into really bad situations, with the whole big baller brand and LeVar Ball shit. That's in the past now, all right? The man transferred to two high schools. He dropped like 92 points in a high school game. I know that doesn't mean anything, but he was onto something here, right? He was onto something here. Goes to Lithuania because his pop says, hey, no one wants you, but Lithuania, dude, they love you over there. So let's get you over there. And I think he actually improved a lot. Like, I think that's where we were able to actually see how much of his ability has improved since the high school years. It's a real shame we didn't get to see him in college in terms of just watching him more frequently. Hey, we already know day one he was better than LiAngelo, right? That was the main standard. If you can beat LiAngelo, you're set for life. But for me, when he went to the NBL and that was it, like a 4-inch jump in height, think about it. A 6'7" point guard, we're balling out, all right? This is basically Ben Simmons, but that actually has more confidence at this point. So with that, LaMelo Ball, let's make Minnesota great again, but after we move them to Seattle, all right?
I'm not gonna lie. The funniest part about that was looking at John's reaction to you saying LaMelo Ball. I was crying laughing. I could not stop. Oh my god! All right, so Sam's got LaMelo. That just screwed over John greatly. Kevin, with the second pick in the NBA mock draft with Golden State Warriors, who you got?
all right. Sam went like obscene
Yeah.
that no one expected. I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go the safe pick, assuming Golden State doesn't actually trade their pick away. I'm going James Wiseman. They need a center. They need an actual true center, and he fits them perfectly. He has an effective field goal percentage of 77%. Like, that's wild. 5.2 blocks per 40 minutes. 5.2. The man's a defensive monster. Can get points all the time under the basket. Good in the post. He can do it all as a big man, and Golden State has been missing that for so long. Yeah, they have Draymond Green. They have a couple power forwards that are open.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine if they have this actual star over 7 foot center who can score, who can play defense, who can do all this stuff. Like, that's an easy pick for them. They build him up as well as get get Stephen Clay back.
Man, too silly.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
I think that makes them top 3 playoff contender easy. Like, I think they need a big man up front. And I think James Wiseman is the obvious pick. This is just me.
James
Wiseman.
Wiseman. Hold on, sorry. Before we jump to the third pick, your stats were based off 3 games, correct?
Irrelevant.
Okay, gotcha. Just want to make sure. Bob Myers, I got you.
I gotta hype him up, dude.
You're hype man. You're right.
So with that pick, honestly, that is probably one of the most sensible picks. I've got the third pick in the draft with the Charlotte Hornets. Now, we know that they were talking about getting Russell Westbrook. I'm just gonna let's just pretend that they don't make that mistake. I'm gonna go with, and actually I'm gonna have Sam say his name because I'm gonna butcher it like no other. Sam, number 3 pick with the USC freshman.
Oh, Onyeka Okongwu, my boy.
Thank you. Yes. First off, Charlotte Hornets have been looking for a big for quite some time. Having new talent, having somebody who can, who's fast as hell, who hustles, who's a great interior scorer, shot blocking, 16.2 points per 40. That's wonderful. He's a great rebounder. This guy is a great talent for that team. He's tall. He's got a crazy ass wingspan, 7'1". Wow, holy shit. I like him. I very much like him. He's a good post scorer. I'm all about that, especially for the Charlotte Hornets. They could definitely use somebody. They could definitely use a big. That's for sure. So I've got my boy OK. That's just what I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him OK from now on because I will never get his last name right. So with the 4th pick in the mock draft, John picking for the Chicago Bulls. Who do you got for us?
So I'm pretty excited to have this opportunity to live in a fantasy land. I don't think that this is who the Bulls will pick in this spot, but with LaMelo Ball off the board, I'm going to be taking Killian Hayes from France. Now this guy, he is like kind of a controversial prospect because you have folks like the folks at the Ringer who think he's the best prospect available, but you also have folks like at ESPN and Bleacher Report who just don't quite see it. What I like about Killian Hayes is that he's already a really high-level passer and playmaker, and I don't know if anyone on the Chicago Bulls is even capable of making a basketball leave their hands horizontally. And so that would be thrilling to have someone who could actually create offense for that team long term. And then there's also the fact that if you watch how he plays, he's not, of course, of like the caliber of James Harden, and he may never be that good. But that's how he plays a lot of the game. He has a really killer step back already. He's got great footwork, and admittedly, like his handle does need work. He really only has one hand right now, and like that is a bit of a problem. But I think that like he's kind of got the outline of someone who could be a really special player. And though there's some concerns about his athleticism, like those same concerns were raised for Luka Doncic. And even though Luka is probably a much better player than Killian will ever be, I think that with an NBA training staff, I think you could see him turn into someone who's like a pretty elite creator for this team, which is something the Bulls actually need. And he's a good defender. He plays hard on defense. Great team defender. I really like that pick. I like the footage I've seen of him. I'm taking Killian Hayes.
I like that. Plus, I like almost all the Euro talent that is out there. I'm almost always for that kind of stuff. So, way to get back on your feet with that stunning loss of LaMelo, John. You did great. All right, so we've got the next pick in the draft. We've got Kevin picking for Cleveland. Who do you got?
All right, this is an easy one because he'd still be on the board. But I mean, what does Cleveland need? Anything. Any position, Cleveland needs it. So I'm gonna take the best person still on the board. I think Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
Another guard.
I love it. Another guard. I need it.
That's hilarious. I forgot.
Obviously. Dude, you could get this guy, actually build a team around him, and then trade your other trash guards away. No one needs half of that Cleveland team. Literally just get rid of everyone. Get some picks, get some big men or something for like 4 shitty ass guards and build your team around Anthony Edwards. Like, don't build your team around fucking Colin Sexton. Trash.
Whoa.
I think that's maybe the best value pick we've got so far. I did not. I totally forgot about Anthony Edwards. Thought he would be gone, I guess, by the time I was picking. So I was like,
yeah.
At this point, this is the famous plan.
Oh my god! All right, so
yeah,
moving on.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah,
that's a great pick, Kevin. You did Cleveland proud, which is very hard to do.
Oh.
So we've got the next pick in the draft with Sam picking for Atlanta. Let's see how you rebuild this team.
Thing is, fuck this team, all right? I'm actually up the spy at this point, all right? I'm actually for the San Antonio Spurs, ladies and gentlemen, as we are trading our pick at the 11th pick and DeMar DeRozan to the Atlanta Hawks, who are a win-now team for some reason, because they had 2 years and he needs to win now. I'm just saying. I'm cool with this. Fuck DeRozan, because he wants power. We're going to trade our 11th pick and DeRozan. We're going to get Cam Reddish, could care less. Probably some other trash, could also care less. I mean, I would take DeAndre Hunter personally, but I don't think he's on the board. But we're taking the 6th pick as well. We'll make the numbers work eventually. And we're drafting my boy, Denny Avila, all right? We're drafting him, my boy out of Israel. And we know how Spurs love European talent here, all right? We are a small forward gang over here, and we're going to be dominating once again. We have Greg Popovich still here. Becky Hammond going to be next in line. The amount of playmaking ability this kid has, I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm just saying, hey, you guys got to slow your roll, all right? You're sleeping on this talent right here. But Denny here is next gen talent, all right? Next gen, all around for the game. And should I say it right here? Next Luka Doncic. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here. Next Luka Doncic. Let's move it on.
Clicks, baby, clicks.
So listen, once we're done with this episode, I just want a picture of John's face after you said that, because it was just straight. Oh God. All right.
Hey,
We've got the next pick. John, how are you going to make Detroit better?
So there's not really like a ton that you really can do to make Detroit better right now. They have a lot of needs kind of all across the floor. But one prospect that I've been hearing a lot about lately that's been pretty exciting for a lot of different teams, who's kind of like had a very big rise up boards, and who I'm going to pick here is Patrick Williams from Florida State, wing from Florida State. He's got a pretty already like solid toolkit when it comes to his offensive game right now. He can serve as a shot creator. He can be a screener. He can do a whole lot of things right now, kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none at the moment. He's admittedly still kind of raw and has a lot of growth that he'll need to do, especially in his one-on-one defense. But he's already a solid team defender, which is, just a big plus for this team in Detroit that really has like no identity. And so a player who's, I think, this versatile and has this much potential is a good pick here. And I think that like he'll at worst be a solid rotation player. And then maybe they'll get to have another low pick next year when the draft is better. So, I like Patrick Williams. That's my pick there.
Sounds good. I'm going to go pretty simply for the Knicks. That's a really weird thing, simple and Knicks, because those never work. I'm going to pick Tyrese Halliburton. Look, This guy, the biggest thing that I saw after looking at him was shades of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which is wonderful. I love that. He's a fantastic shooter. And the thing that the Knicks need the most is somebody to build around, right? So having a great playmaker on your team to build around, that's probably the best thing that you can start with. Having a good shooter, having a great playmaker on your team to build around, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I would want as the Knicks GM. Well, I would want a lot more if I was a Knicks. I'd want a different team if I were the Knicks. But this guy's a great prospect. He's got a great deep range shot. His shooting form and stuff like that can be worked on. The athleticism, as we have seen with Luka, again, something else that can be worked on with his weight and everything like that. I mean, he's 175, which isn't bad, obviously, but with the athleticism and with the shooting, this can all be fixed. This can all be perfected. I like this guy. I really do. I like the playmaking aspect for the Knicks. Halliburton, let's get it. So for the next pick in the draft, we've got John picking for Washington. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is one that I'm feeling very conflicted about because okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna take Obi Toppin from Dayton.
All right.
And here's why: you got John Wall coming back this year to play with Bradley Beal. We don't know what he's gonna look like, but he's gonna want someone to throw a basketball to. Obi Toppin is one bouncy motherfucker. He's got a really strong offensive game already. He's a great jumper, terrible defender, like really bad defender. But he's like the kind of guy who's gonna come in his first year and I could like see him being like an easy rookie of the year candidate because he's already such a strong and confident offensive player that he's gonna just like put up points on that end. And since it's already considered kind of a weaker year, it feels like he could be kind of like the Malcolm Brogdon of this draft in that regard. So I'm taking Obi Toppin to the Wizards, and no one's going to play defense on that team, and Bradley Beal is going to be gone in a year.
Yeah, sounds about right. I like that. I do like that. I also like the trash of the Washington Wizards. That's great. So with the next pick, I will be picking for Phoenix, baby, the bright future Suns, and I've got Isaac Okoro. Look, the fact that you already have Devin Booker, a fantastic shooter on your team, I'm not going to be picking somebody who's going to be taking the ball and shooting it up every 5 seconds of the game, right? He's a fantastic playmaker, and he's a great decision maker. That is awesome. He's good with the pick and roll. That's great when you have somebody like DeAndre Ayton and you have Devin Booker. You can open up the floor a little bit for those guys. Great handles on the basketball. Look, I'm going to always pick a player who's going to be good with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. If I've got both of them scoring high and I've got Isaac Okoro with a ton of assists on the team, I'm a happy person. I'm absolutely all for it. Obviously, his free throws need a lot of work. 67% free throw percent. It's not good. That's pretty bad. But as somebody who isn't going to be, in my eyes, somebody who's really going to be going down the middle, he seems more of a playmaker than an interior scorer. I'm not really too worried about that. So pass the ball to Devin Booker, pass it to DeAndre Ayton, give them the ball majority of the time, and I'm a happy Suns fan. I'm all for it. So next in the draft, Sam, of course, you decide to pick this for yourself. What you got for the Spurs, baby?
Hey, no, we trade that pick, boy. We trade that trade. Let's not forget about that, all right?
Yeah,
very
important.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad.
Again, as a Spurs GM, fuck DeRozan once again if it wasn't clear enough. But Atlanta, what are we going to do here? The thing is, when I see Trae Young, you know who he reminds me of? In very, very small form of Damian Lillard, all right? And in terms of playmaking ability and limitless range. And the person that can complement him is another CJ McCollum-like character. And that's Tyrell Terry, easily out of Stanford, right? This kid's ability to, work off the ball, off each screen, unreal. I don't know if you guys watch Pac-12 basketball. If you did, it was a mistake, to be honest. Let's be real. UCLA isn't the same since John Wooden. That's been a while. But Tyrell Terry just seems like a solid fit. Once again, reminds me of a CJ McCollum, the way he just moves off the ball. Someone that's kind of like, he's a really good slasher, I guess you said, through the paint, but not to score inside the paint. He's someone that can get to the corner, get up to the top of the key, and then catch and shoot at that point. I think Tyrell Terry would be perfect fit with Trae Young, someone that can complement a team that doesn't have many shooters. They have a John Collins that works inside. Once they get DeRozan, someone that only works at a mid-range. If Clint Capella ever gets healthy, I love Clint Capella, only works inside. So what you need is another shooter. You might get Kevin Huerter, but he might be part of the trade package, so we'll have to wait on that. Terry will be the next CJ McCollum. Hopefully better and actually have better future than CJ McCollum. No offense, CJ, I love you, but Portland's, you're in the West. It sucks. So.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. Unfortunately, yes. Kevin, picking for Sacramento. Who do you got?
All right. Good luck me pronouncing this guy's name, but the big man from Serbia,
Oh, mistakes were made.
Alexej Poskieski? Something?
No.
Sure.
Our buddy Justin would not be very happy with you, Kevin.
Whatever. I mean, listen, Sacramento has interesting team, first of all. But they have a lot of backcourt people. They have a lot of guards, like some wings and people like that, like Bogdan. Their team's garbage. I hate their team. I hate that I have to pick for them. But they need someone under the basket who can stretch the floor for them, but can also pass it back out to all their perimeter guys that are on the edge trying to shoot. Buddy Hield, even though he's coming off the bench. And I think this guy can do it. He has unbelievable passing for a big man. He's kind of like that. I don't want to say full Jokic-esque, but that's his big thing, is his playmaking and his passing and everything like that. And I think that helps that team a lot, because that takes the ball out of someone's hands that is going to just like lose it because they're all trash. I hate Sacramento. Not welcome on this podcast.
Not welcome on the podcast. All right. With that heat being said, what's Sam?
So this pick reminds me, I don't know if you guys remember when Sacramento really had the 8th pick, I want to say 3 years ago. They drafted a man named Giorgio Papagiannis. This is what this guy reminds me. It's a guy that has a very long name and will never see or set foot in the NBA at this point. Kevin, you played yourself as Vlade Divac in this role, so hey, glad you're making your money, but you won't be here long. I'm sorry.
John, what do you have for Nola? What do you got for Nola?
So actually, I'm pretty excited right now that this pick is available to be made, because we know this New Orleans defense is pretty wretched. As much as I know they need a center to play next to Zion, I'm going to go ahead and just pick one of the guys who's one of the best defenders in this draft on the wing. We're talking Devin Vassell from Florida State. I think that the defense is what you're taking him for. He has space to improve offensively, and he has some good signs that he will. But we also, I don't know if you guys saw some videos of him working out this summer. His jump shot's looking funky all of a sudden. It was a little bit weird. And so I don't know how great I feel about that part of it, but you know what? If you have Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, you should be able to score just fine with those guys in those spaces. And I think getting someone like Devin Vassell, who can shore up one of the worst defenses, especially at the bubble, especially as like a young guy to build with, I think it's an awesome value for New Orleans at 13. So yeah, Devin Vassell.
I like that. With the next pick of Boston Celtics getting that pick from Memphis, I'm going to go a little bit outside my comfort zone. And I'm actually going to pick Jalen Smith from Maryland. Now, that was a great action, John. So, what's the thing that Boston needs the most? A big, right? So they really need that big, because Daniel Tice, he did just fine for that team, but he is not the answer. He's not what they need. They need a big guy who can rebound and who can create some spacing with that shooting, because the dude's got a great shot. He's got 36% from the three. That's wonderful. Get the rebound, get the ball out to your guards, to Tatum. The reason why I went to a big instead of to another wing is because I really, really like Jaylen Brown. I really like Jason Tatum. I really like what they provide for the team. I don't really want to change too much out of that. And not only that, but Gordon Hayward, whether he's injured or he's playing healthy, I'm going to take the latter and say that he's playing healthy. Keep him on the team, keep him on the field. We'll see what happens to that in the future. Stop shaking your head, John. God damn it. But I want a big. I want to look for that big player that Horford was replaced with, and that was not a good replacement, if I might say so myself. Let's get Jalen Smith on the team. I like it. I like it for the Celtics.
Should I call
next.
real quick? Sorry, hold on. I gotta give a call real quick. Oh, Danny Ainge, fire Matt. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I'll let you go here on that one.
I hate I'm so
Gotta cut
mad.
time for me. We mob gang over here.
Yeah, I like Jalen. I like having a big on the team, whether it's Jalen Smith or whether they maybe
Taco
trade
Fall.
that. Hey, don't you dare shit on my boy Taco Fall. Sam, who do you got for Orlando? Kevin's favorite team. What are you gonna do?
Panic, because am I the only one that wants to go to Disney World still? Like, is that still a thing? Like, I don't want to go to a Magic game at this point. What does this team need? Is that I feel like they fill up every position. It's just not like there's not enough good talent to fill positions, right? It's like you have Vucevic, who has. Don't get me wrong, I actually love Vucevic, but wrong system. That's just what it doesn't belong in the system. Like, imagine Vucevic in a Warrior system. Like, that's gonna do some real damage in my opinion. Obviously, probably wouldn't put up the same stats, but in terms of winning titles back to back to back, hey, I could see that happening with him. But we have Markelle Fultz. I don't. Markel's Markelle. You know, we're on first name basis now. Jonathan Isaac, sadly, I know with that injury, that was really horrible to see. He had such great potential this season, and then just seeing that, it was just a real bummer. Aaron Gordon, we all know what he is. He's Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Let's be real.
The best player in the world, absolutely.
And ugliest man in the game right now. For me is I don't even know, man. This is tough. My thing is, do we want a guard or do we want a small forward? And I think I gotta roll a guard because I just don't have enough confidence in a Terrence Ross and Markelle Fultz, backcourt at that point. And for me, I think we're going to go with a John pick here. I'm going to go with Cole Anthony at this point. I think Cole Anthony was a very sleeper. I know that people were picking on him a lot. He's going to be a top 3 pick, and then he started falling apart because I know, John, we were talking about it earlier. He's someone that actually needed the tournament to really showcase his skill set. And I think this guy can really do some damage going on. I mean, I don't know if Magic's really the best pick. I mean, I think he's the best off the board for this team in general, but there's a lot to fix with this team. But I think Cole Anthony might be a start. It's not the future yet, but it's a start to something. It's something. It's something.
Yeah, it's something.
It's something.
All right. So we've got that, and now, Kevin, who's gonna assist Dollar Dane in Portland?
This was an interesting one. I think you gotta go with picking a wing for them because you got Dame, you got CJ, and then you got Nurkic and as your big guy.
Hey, hold up, we got Melo. Don't forget, Melo.
All right. Okay.
How could you forget him?
You need a wing that's under 35 years old. Sorry.
Facts. Okay.
Because of that, I'm gonna take Sadiq Bey. I think he's a perfect fit for that team. He's gonna be really good on defense. He has the ability to shoot perimeter shots, add that offensive threat, but also run back, help out on the defensive side a lot. And I think that's really gonna add a lot to that Portland team that's already scary. And if they can get that one extra bit of power on that starting lineup that's not a 35-year-old dude that's washed up, I think that helps them out a lot.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
I think that's great.
Totally agree, honest. Sam, you're again back to your favorite team, Minnesota. What you got for us?
We know that this team is notoriously known for not playing defense, right? Ever. That's just what they're known for. They can't do shit. Once again, Cat, step the fuck up. I'm paying you money. You got to play at least one side of the game better than just that offensive. You don't even play the post. Let's be real at this point. The thing that I do like about, unless they fuck it up, is Josh Okogie. I think Josh Okogie is a very good on-ball defender at this point. And I think someone that they can work around with is Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky. I rock with Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky boy. John Calipari, he might be a monster, might be a crook, but hey, we get talent the first round day after day after day. And Tyrese Maxey is a perfect person for this in terms of playing. You need a guy that focuses purely on defense. That's what the guy you need at this point. We got LaMelo. We got D'Angelo. We got Tyrese Maxey. I don't know. This team's getting kind of crazy every time I talk about it. Karl-Anthony Towns. Josh Okogie, Jared Culver, it's young talent. It may not be what Carl Towns wants, but hey, when we get later in the draft or halfway through the season, we can start talking, make some moves. Hey, you want Devin Booker, Carl Towns? I got you. We'll ruin our future. That's fine. We'll do it for you. So with that, Tyrese Maxey, I think, will be the compliment. This team is going to get at least 35 wins. Call it right there.
I like that. It's very high standards from you, Sam. John, we've got the Mavericks for you.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna put next to your boy Luka?
Yeah. So I'm pretty on the fence. I'm trying to decide if I wanna. I think I have to give the Mavericks some kind of wing depth. As much as there's someone else that I would like to take here. I think in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and take Josh Green from Arizona, wing from Arizona. He's just going to come in there right away. He'll know his role. He's going to come in, be a 3-and-D wing, knows what he's supposed to do. He can shoot, he can slash, he can cut. And most importantly, he can play defense against, those absolute savages that they have in the West on the wing. Just gives them a little help there, especially because it does feel like they want to fill that second ball handler position through free agency or trades right now. So I think I'm going to give them a good wing in the draft who will just come in and know his role right away with Josh Green.
That's good.
Place. Got it.
Know your place. I like that. I very much like that. Kevin, we've got the highly anticipated Brooklyn Nets. What are you feeling? How are you feeling about this?
Part of me was thinking I was like, hey, maybe pick a big up. They could use a big other than DeAndre Jordan, but nah, fuck that. Remember what I said last time? Brooklyn Nets, all offense all day. Score 100 points, games can't lose. That's all you need. I'm going Kira Lewis Jr., another guard who's 40.
Another guard.
Listen, again,
they got guards as a coach. We got guards on the floor.
They're going to trade away. If they want to get Harden, they're going to trade away Dinwiddie and LeVert and just get another scoring guy, a young scoring guy who can learn from these good scoring guys.
Okay.
We're good. Score all day. Score 100 points a game. Good. That's it.
I love it.
Offense all day, baby. Offense all day.
Not gonna lie, John took my pick of Josh Green, so I kind of.
We've been taking each other's picks all fucking night, so there's not much we can do about this. With the last pick, I've got Miami. This one's tough for me, mainly because I already picked it. Yeah, shut the hell up. I really like Bam on that team, so I'm trying to figure out a good player to work with him, to work with Jimmy Butler. You've already got really strong shooters on that team, as we have seen. I think for me, what I would want the most is probably going to be a defender, a really good defender. If you're shooting for that championship like last year, you got to have somebody who can play against, these really talented players and protect the board, essentially. If what you're looking for is to play against the Lakers, then you need somebody who can at least somewhat be competent enough to guard Anthony Davis. So I'm going to pick Precious. That's his name, and I love it. And I fucking love it. Freshman from Memphis. He's a big. On average, he'll score 15 points, 10 rebounds. Fucking love it, man. I'm absolutely all for it. Energetic big, multi-positional defender, versatile scorer. If we can get him running on defense, get him good enough to hopefully defend the likes of maybe not LeBron or Anthony Davis, but if we can even get that potential of a solid defender up, then I think that the Heat have a better time of moving forward in the playoffs and this season. We saw the potential that Tyler Hero had from his shooting, fucking phenomenal shooting during the playoffs. if he only gets better and better as a shooter, then what they're going to need is those defensive plays. So give me Precious.
Okay. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I say who I almost
Yes.
picked for the Mavericks and who I think could have been a good pick at 20 for Miami. I get very close to this. I wanted to take Desmond Bane, who is a little bit. He's a senior, so he is already a little older. He doesn't have like that great physical profile, but he is the kind of player that if you're already a good team, you could slide him in. He's incredibly like a high IQ guy. He always makes great passes. He can fit in any role. He's a knockdown shooter, despite he has like kind of a weird form, but he is a really good player. He's like fundamentally sound on defense, but he's not gonna be like a lockdown guy, but he won't be making mistakes. So I think whoever ends up with him is going to get, at the very least, a really good rotation player right off the bat.
I like that. I like that a lot. Absolutely. Why don't we get into some Rookie of the Year talk? I know obviously it's super, super early. We haven't really seen how these players are going to be playing in the NBA. However, it's always fun to assume things. So, Sam, who are you predicting to be Rookie of the Year?
All right, so I got some criteria. Are we doing based off how we drafted them, or just overall how it was? I'm just being honest. I mean, like,
let's be realistic. I feel like our draft system is not realistic in the slightest. So
that's the case. I'm torn between Tyrese Halliburton and Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is a very interesting prospect. I think the way he's jumped up, especially in the ringer board, I mean, just overall on the boards in general, I think I just have high hopes for those kind of players and the amount of talent, even though this talent class is obviously probably since the worst since probably
Victor Oladipo draft. Oh God!
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought that Wiggins and Jabari Parker draft was going to be good, but that's
that's unfortunate.
But I think there's a lot of potential, and people are probably going to think like, why didn't you pick LaMelo Ball? You drafted LaMelo number 1. He's got to be one. The thing is, LaMelo, compared to the other players, I think LaMelo has to be in the right market, the right city. He has to be with the right team, the right coach. Like his is so specific that he can only work in so many situations. And for him, I think he has to be in intimidating situations, such as, I'm not saying they should draft it, but like I think he would succeed more in a Golden State situation where it's like you're not the star in that sense. I think it worked both ways. You can either be purely the star and there's no one else on the team, and that's fine. But I think he would actually be more successful with a Golden State team. You have championship talent on that roster. Why would you not want to play with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson? I mean, honestly, he could make a starting role. Like he's got the height to even play small forward. I know he doesn't play that kind of role in general, but I mean, with that coaching staff, I think they'll be able to work on his shooting game because the guy's really streaky when he shoots, and it's so slow. He needs to be quicker off that shot because that's what Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, they have that shot in terms of that. And you have a guy that keeps saying, fuck you, you're trash with Draymond Green. You know, well, what else do you need, right? That's the guy, that's confidence boost, right? Someone that tells you fuck you every day is the reason you're going to be the best player in the NBA. So overall, I think Tyrese Halliburton or Killian Hayes will probably be our kind of sleepers, but I think they're going to be our Roys. But Malcolm Brogdon style, like you said, John.
John, how are you feeling about that?
I mean, obviously, if Killian Hayes was on the Chicago Bulls, like I would like, and I would feel really good about that. I don't want to deal with, so I don't think it'll be Killian Hayes. I also don't think it'll be LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo has a lot of bad habits that he's going to need to work on this year. He's probably not going to be like a great dynamic scorer, and he's going to have a lot of really cool highlights his rookie year, but I don't think he's going to come in and be like Ja Morant, who already came in as such like a pretty strong, complete player offensively, with Rudiger, obviously, but I love Killian Hayes. He's another guy who he does have a lot of work to do, but again, if they're both on teams where they're doing everything, they have a good chance of doing it. I think that I still think Obi Toppin will probably be the Rookie of the Year. I think him, maybe James Wiseman if he's in Charlotte could be Rookie of the Year. Just because of all the work he'll get to do there. So I would probably say right now I would pick Obi Toppin just as like this guy can already kind of like play with big people, and he's already so athletic that he'll like put up good offensive numbers. And since it's a weak rookie class, like it feels like he's a good bet to kind of just come in and like score like 16 a game and be good enough.
That's kind of the thing about this class. I think it's hard to say who will be rookie of the year, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like the reason why it's so hard to pick rookie of the year for this class is just because it's such a, I don't want to say shitty, but it's not a great draft class.
I think it's
not
like
last year.
I think it's a class. It's going to be like one of those where the best player from the draft might be someone who's picked like late in the lottery, you know, like the best player. I think it will still give, I think there's a lot of like at least good rotational players in this draft. I just don't think it's like very star heavy. But you know, it'll be kind of a weird, interesting class, and they're gonna have such an interesting time adjusting with the short training camp. I think that stacks up against like all of them. I think they're gonna have a hard time just getting adjusted at first.
Yeah, Kevin, are you on the LaMelo hype train, or are you kind of with Sam and John right now?
I think I'm more with them. I think LaMelo is going to be good, but I don't know if he's going to be a Roy quality. I think honestly, I think if Wiseman can get on a team and get starting like a starting spot, I think he could easily take Rookie of the Year just with the amount of work that he would do on like a Charlotte, or hypothetically, I genuinely would like him to see him on Golden State, because the rumor is Golden State's going to trade the pick for Aldridge, and I think that's gross and disgusting. And a 35-year-old dude who's washed up, who's from the Spurs, and okay, if Golden State wants to get a guy who can shoot the mid-range game only and get some rebounds and is 35 years old, sure. Or you get this young rookie who seems great, and you could build your team around him. But I don't know. We'll see. But otherwise, I think Killian Hayes also someone to watch out for, and I think will be in the running regardless. I would be surprised if LaMelo lives up to the hype and actually gets like top 3 Rookie of the Year kind of picks.
I think I still think he could be really good down the line. I just think this year he will struggle. That's how I feel.
Especially if he's on the Bulls. That is not a helpful team to succeed on right now.
Yeah.
Hey, we're changing.
It's true. It's true. We're getting there. All right. Sam, do you have anything to add on to this?
I think a good thing to ask, just from a personal standpoint, from the team that you guys enjoy following, it's called the Bulls, the Mavs, Kevin's teams.
Kevin's team.
What team would you like just hate having? What player would you just hate having your team draft this year? Okay, we'll start with you, Matt. Your Bulls. Or your Suns. Bulls, your Suns in this case too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit more concerned about the Bulls, so I'm gonna go with them. If I'm the Bulls, I would hate to see them go for another score first person, another ball hogger. I really don't think they need another big. I know. I love Wendell Carter Jr. and I love Markkanen, but they really screwed them over, and it makes me so mad. But if they veer away from anybody who has the potential to be an incredible playmaker, I think it's a huge loss. They really need a playmaker. They need somebody who is going to have that kind of pass first mentality, who is good at passing the ball first. I want somebody who can also kind of make Kobe White a better player, because I'm still very much so on that Kobe White hype train. I really liked what I saw from his games where he was shooting up like 30 points a game and whatnot. That was really fun to watch for me. So if you can have somebody who can kind of make that talent better, then that's great. But essentially, it all boils down to, are the Bulls going to pick a playmaker, or are they going to pick somebody who's going to make the team tremendously worse?
All right. John, you got some concerned faces over here. What are we seeing here?
In principle, I agree with you on almost all of that, Matt, except for the fact that I do not give a fuck about Kobe White. I don't care. I don't care about Kobe White. I think he could be fine. I don't think he's someone that we should build around or concern ourselves with in regards to future decisions.
Yeah.
But what I would say is I do agree. Like they're going to have the opportunity to pick, I think, 3 really strong playmakers, depending on where LaMelo falls. So if LaMelo does make it to them, they could get him, they could get Killian Hayes, they could get Denny Avdia, who are all great playmakers. I would hate to see them draft a big, obviously. I don't think I would even like them to draft in the bizarre circumstances of our draft, Anthony Edwards fell that far, and I don't think I would like to see them. I didn't pick him. I don't think I would like to see them pick Anthony Edwards, even though he's someone who probably has easily the most physical potential to be a star in this draft, because he is such a freak off physically that he can do so much. I think that they really just need someone who can be a strong playmaker on that team because they don't have that guy. I personally think right now the person with the most playmaking potential on that team is Wendell Carter Jr., which is not a great place to be in.
No.
And so I think that get it. They just need to be smart. Get one of those guys who, if you want to get a forward, get Denny, who can still be a really great playmaking forward and plays good team defense and has room to grow offensively, although his shooting is a little concerning. Yeah, so I would just say please, for the love of God, get someone who can pass the ball and avoid anyone like Anthony Edwards. I'd be okay if they took someone like Tyrese Halliburton even, but it would be such a reach. But yeah, I would say avoid the bigs, avoid score first guys right now.
And if you're going to get a playmaker, get rid of Levine, because nobody's going to be able to be a good playmaker if you have Levine hogging the goddamn ball all day long.
But what I'm hearing is we're getting LaMelo Ball in Chicago. Is what I'm hearing. You want playmaking?
Look, if we get LaMelo Ball, I will 100% convince myself that LaMelo Ball is going to be the greatest point guard of his generation. I can do that. I have those powers of cognitive dissonance to convince myself of those things. But for the time being, I'm a little hesitant about it.
As being a Chicago sports fan, we have the very unique ability to just really, really try our hardest to be okay with players. So just, the Bears drafted Trubisky, and it took every ounce of my being to be okay with that. And clearly that hasn't worked out. So,
Kevin, let's not pick a Chicago team here. Of the 29, which one what's your team? Is it Lakers? Are we picking Lakers? Because they trade their pick. All right.
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder,
Congrats, you picked Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, congratulations, your team got a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been kind of hyping up Portland. I liked picking this time.
I liked your pick for Portland.
Right? I thought that was perfect. I think they could really use a wing for sure. I guess I just don't want them to draft. I don't even know. They could kind of make whatever work, but I would rather them get someone who is a little more versatile, who can play a bunch of different things, who is a little bit more two-way, who can go up and do those mid-range shots like Sadiq Bey. And then go back on the other side of the court and actually play good defense and not just be I see Portland as the opposite of the Brooklyn Nets in that they actually play both sides of the court very evenly. And whereas the Brooklyn Nets are just going to, like I said, 130 points a game, guaranteed.
And you just can't be playing Mario Hezonja heavy minutes. You just can't do that.
Yeah,
and be a professional basketball team.
When the guy's got knee-high socks, you don't play him. All right.
No, you can't. He's covered up something. He's got something to hide. This fucking sucks.
I think we've given this draft a lot of shit, but I think this class is like the depth of the averaged to okay talent is pretty deep. Like
I agree.
most of the first round picks are gonna be decent picks. The top 3, 5, whatever are gonna be better, but I think even like anything in the first round is gonna be fairly good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And on that note, thank you everybody for listening to the podcast. We are super pumped to be back. Sam, you're giving me a look.
A little bit. Hey, man, you didn't ask about my team, but hey, whatever. It's all good.
I
mean, you had your dream scenario so beautifully.
Yeah, we
already
so,
all right, I can't complain.
Scenario.
All I'm going to say is don't draft a guard, Spurs. Please don't draft another guard.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You don't want it. And
so the Spurs don't draft a guard and get DeRozan out of there.
And Aldridge. You can get Aldridge. Hey.
And Aldridge.
Cherry on top at that point. We're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us on Instagram at the Deep3Pod as well as Twitter at the Deep3Pod. We have our boy John working on the Twitter aspect of our show, so we're very excited to see that. I know John's excited to play around with that, to watch a lot of basketball content. John, we're very excited to have you on our show full time. This is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see all of the back and forth between you and Kevin, because that's just going to happen. It's bound to happen. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. We're really excited about the new season that's coming up, even though it's a bit of a stretch for the players to be coming back this soon. We're pumped for basketball. I'm excited for it. It's going to be great. I'm going to be excited to see how this season turns out. Hopefully it's not a complete and utter shit show, but with COVID, who's to say? Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast, and have a good night.
We have 4 people now.